Hello everybody, welcome back. Jade Empire walkthrough. As part 2, pretty much just taking care of a little bit more dialogue. I think I do a little training here with this Smiling Mountain. So eventually you're going to want to take care of all the training with him. If you I don't think it's, what is it? One student first, and then I think you can, later on there will be an option to pick multiple opponents, and I think you can do 2, 3, 4, and then if you heal Kiamin, you know, depending on which way you're going, open palm or closed fist, there's 2 different ways to handle that whole kind of side quest. But once you take care of that and then beat her record, he gives you actually a technique, and I don't remember the name of it right off the top of my head, but we'll get it eventually here. It's still a while coming up though. So and again, we don't have any money right now, so we can't really do anything else really with him anyway. And then I don't think that you can get more experience if you just keep, you know, fighting one student over and over, or, you know, even if you have like, or 2 or whatever. And then these guys, I was kind of trying to do a harmonious combo, which, you know, I'll show that when I actually get, or actually succeed in doing that. Not all enemies in the game are susceptible to it. But when it does work, you can one-shot them. So it's obviously very, very powerful. You know, when that opportunity is there. I'm trying to think of what else I did here. There's a couple of little book stands here that you're gonna want to. Yeah, here's another one. I think there's 2 in this place. This one is okay. So Talfan, I think, is how you say that. The old tongue, let's see here. Okay, so where's rage? By the time Sakishian formed the empire, the old tongue had spread. So yeah, so they're just talking about the old tongue, and that's why some people actually use that in the game. So some of the voice acting is using that. So I mean, I don't know if that's actually a real language or not. I'm not sure. It kind of seems like it would be, but I don't know it. So normally when anybody's talking about the old language, I just kind of skip through it. So you know, that'll be one thing that you'll notice. But here we're gonna have our conversation with Gao, so I'm going to cut the commentary here and continue afterwards.
Try Lynn. She'll say anything to please you just to see your simpering little smile. Pathetic. Master Li wants to talk to you. Do me a favor and go talk to him. Then maybe I can actually receive some education at this school.
Alright, I forgot how short the first conversation with Gao actually is. You can definitely tell, though, there's a little friction between the main character and he. And then Lynn... I don't remember if I trained a little bit with Lynn already, so and I think I talked to her in the first video, so there isn't really anything new.
You think I will
talk about with her? Yeah.
Again?
I was trying to see if
you were so interested.
the first conversation with her, she's kind of a little flirty. With the main character, but there's nothing else really. It doesn't lead anywhere, I suppose.
Leaving so soon?
So even when you say goodbye to her, she even says, "Oh, are you leaving so soon? Oh well, back to my training." Like she kind of wants to talk to the main character a little more. But alright, so here's the first conversation with Master Li, so I'll kind of cut it here.
There you are, my student. I watched your bout against Jingwu with great pride. You have gained almost all you can from the practice arena. You are my best pupil, though you came to me an orphan. I have tried to prepare you for the responsibility your skills will bring. Have you given thought to your future? Your lessons are complete. Remember these basic skills and keep them at heart. But also remember the classes are not a true measure of ability. Always be ready to learn. I recall that, as a child, you fell and bruised your arm. I comforted you, saying that small pains are part of learning, but not every setback imparts wisdom. You must be careful. Sometimes all you learn in defeat is that you have been defeated. This world is out of balance. Spirits grow restless, and you have a role to play that I have kept secret. Those who announce their important destiny before they are ready tend to meet unfortunate ends. The wise only seek attention when capable of dealing with it. The people are scared. I do not have all the answers, but I know you will become very important to the fates of many. You will be called to face a great evil.
Master! Master Li!
What is this interruption? This had better be important. There is much to say.
Master! Nijo came to warn me. He saw a boat from the outlook past the fields. Strange outlaws. They fired something at him, and Kiamin was injured.
Where is she now?
Still outside the village by the outlook. Nijo couldn't carry her. Please come, Master Li. The bandits are not at the village yet, but they could arrive at any time.
We will have to continue our discussion later, my student. It appears we have more pressing matters. The time for practice is over. Go to Gujin, the weapon master, and get a weapon. You may soon be called to use it. On your way, make certain Dawnstar is aware of the danger. Her skills have always complemented yours, so take her with you. Prepare yourself for a potential attack while I tend to my fallen student. I will return as soon as I can. We will continue our discussion when the threat is over. Good. The time comes when you will know all you need to. For now, keep the basics at heart.
Alright, so obviously the conversation was interrupted. The master, there's a bandit attack, and Kia Min was injured, and she is the one that needs to be healed in order to obtain one of the techniques from Smiling Mountain, and I believe it's Alloyed Body, I think, or Lessons of the Forge. I can't remember which one, so we'll get it eventually here, but here's your first little puzzle. It's kind of neat. You don't have to do it quite like this. Basically, what I did, I did it over and over. You can do it, actually, you can, what is it? Every time you solve the puzzle, you know, it's okay, so you put the blue, and then it's red, and then yellow last.
The obvious path
and okay, so it says the obvious path is humble, safe, but pays the wage of a cook, not a champion. I like that. And every time you do it, it gives you 1 silver until you get to 20, and then at 20 pieces, it will no longer, you know, give you any more. So, do you really have to do it that many times? No. And in all honesty, you know, you don't really have to do it at all. But there is another technique that can be learned here in a bit, and obviously we're gonna go ahead and get that. It's gonna. The cool thing about it is the first, and I think they meant to do it this way, but the first little puzzle, you know, is kind of like obvious, and then you can use the silver that you get, you know, from the first time, or first, I guess you could say the first 20 times, you know, and then take that to basically the next. There's a little area. Let's see, what would it be? The north, looks like northwest, yeah, of here. Yeah, whatever, not important. You'll see me go there. Oh, it looks like you get a little bit of experience too. Maybe, well, maybe it was only 1. I don't know. Yeah, looks like I'm getting 1 experience too. So I don't know, 1 EXP and 1 silver, and like I said, I think you can do it 20 times. So you know, in the grand scheme of things, that's not gonna it's not gonna mean anything. So, in all honesty, you know, if you don't want to do this 20 times, by all means, you know, don't. It's definitely not gonna make or break you. I would say maybe do it at least once, and then you know, get that one initial silver piece, and that'll be enough to basically take care of the next part of the quest, or to start the next part, I should say. Oh wow, this took me a little bit longer than I thought, or than I remembered. Once you get the rhythm down, it goes pretty quick. I mean, approach the altar. There we go. Okay. Statues, and then do not destroy the altar. That would be a big mistake. You'd lose out on the next part of it, I guess. And then here's kind of a little. I don't know if this is really a hidden scroll stand, but it can be missable if you're not paying attention. But it talks about the long drought since the worst period in Jade Empire's recent history. And I mean, this is pretty. So it's a pretty major plot point. So what was it? It was something like 20 years previous to this point in time. There was a huge drought, and I don't think that scroll went into it at all. But eventually, we are going to find out what the Emperor did to end the drought. And again, I mean, it's pretty major plot points here. And here you have two students practicing with each other. And they literally, this gal will not say anything to you about really what's going on or anything else. It's just about training. So yeah, so you know, again, don't expect to get much more information out of her.
If he has enough students available. But learning from you is a chance I wouldn't want to pass up.
This is definitely more of a...
This is good news. We'll try
more backstory, I guess, almost. As far as the main character and his abilities and how the other students see the main character. You know, some of them, Gao namely, are threatened by him. But most of the students appreciate, you know, any practice or any instruction that your main character will give them.
I didn't think we'd win, but it was an honor to face you. Thank you very much. We have to go. Smiling Mountain's going to be teaching a class soon, and then we have weapons training.
Okay, so a nice little bonus of experience there, and here's the next puzzle. Or next part of the puzzle, maybe I should say. Easy enough, put a silver in the mouth. And the lion head token there is removed from the tomb. Obviously, you get a little bit of experience there, and you'll lose 1 silver. Which is ironic. It feels like you could have just taken... Well, maybe ironic is not the right word. But it feels like you could have just taken it back. But hey, you know what? Whatever. And that's the book we've already read. So we're going to head back in here to the lion statue. Alright, audible click. Alright. There we go. So something changes inside the sphere, glows green. So you want to put the blue figure on and then the yellow. I think you can probably do it in the opposite order too. Now I did this wrong. I was supposed to remove the blue and then put the red down. Yeah, it's one of these. Yeah. So there, I put the wrong one on. I needed to. You got to do the order just right. And then here, see, I was bashing the button too much. So blue and then yellow. Again, take off the blue. There we go. Put the red on. All right, it changes to purple. So I think you remove the yellow. Yep, and then put the blue. There we go. So that's that. Clearly he's done something momentous.
You will see the
Alright, examine your world from all angles and you will see the interconnectedness of all things, even that which is humble can be the key to greater things. Alright, so there's our first technique, the Gaze of the Lion. And I like to go in here and check the techniques. Masterful Hunter, the lion must always be aware of the totality of its domain and be ready to protect it. You feel a kinship with the predator, blobbity blobbity blob. I definitely should have not bashed through my menu so fast there. I could have continued reading that. Well, it's too late now,
I hear
isn't
bandits
it?
have injured Kia Min. She is a favorite pupil and holds the record for the challenge I run. I'm sure Master Li will take care of her.
Alright, so there's nothing we haven't already heard. Bandits have injured Kia Min.
I'm afraid we have more
And
press.
I was like, I want to train. I want to train, man. And Smiling Mountain's like, no, you need to take care of some bandits, buddy. And I believe that's it for the little bit of side questy type stuff for the moment. So it's time to continue into town. And here we have
What's the matter,
Gao and
Dawnstar? Are you
Dawnstar.
scared that Master Li might find out?
There is talk of approaching bandits, and you bother me with unsubtle advances. How very like you, Gao. No doubt a tactic learned from your criminal father.
His name is Gao the Greater, and he built a fortune out of some ragged thieves and slave traders. If my charm can't lift your spirit, I'll buy the ground from under you.
Flaunting your father's undeserved wealth does not impress me, Gao. It only serves to push me further away.
You step beyond your station. She and I are discussing her future.
Thank you, Gao, but I'll pick my own poison. Now leave, and if you'd be so kind, stay downwind.
I won't forget this, Dawnstar. You show great disrespect. You as well. You will not take all the glory if there is an attack. We are not through.
Oh, he is Gao the Lesser in all respects. I thought Master Li allowed him to stay so that the influence of the father could be countered, but Gao never learns. He acts like he's above Master Li's teachings. Such are the conceits of wealth, I suppose. I appreciate that you arrived when you did. What does Gao the Lesser ever want? He's convinced that he can buy everything, and that includes people. He's a spoiled little man. I'd rather not dwell on him. Let's not increase his influence by talking about him after he's gone. What is it you wish? That is nice to hear. Gao could learn much from you if he wanted to learn anything from anyone. Please, he's not worth it. Let's just move on. What brings you here? Yes, he said you were coming. He just passed here with Si Pat on his way to help Kia Min. It's strange that simple bandits would launch such a raid. Master Li was concerned that this would interrupt your training. His respect for your potential is just so absolute. Has he told you any more about your future? Only what Master Li has told you in the past. You are meant for great things, but you must discover them yourself. It must be so frustrating, but exciting as well. It is not the same. You are filled with the promise of great things, even if they are unknown. My skills will always be darker. I can see into the spiritual, an ability that grants some insight, but it doesn't seem to be useful for anything other than keeping me awake at night. I helped Master Li discover the unrest that shapes your future, but I see only problems, while you are destined to find solutions. I envy you for that. I'm glad. You have always kept your feet on the ground. What does Master Li say? That you should keep the basics close to heart? Let's go get your weapon from Guzhin's workshop. It shouldn't be too hard to fend off simple bandits. They're foolish to attempt such an attack. course. I can speak now or during our walk. Master Lee suggested that I accompany you, in case you require assistance. I don't want to think about it too much. Manipulating chi has not come as naturally to me as it has to you. The things I do are different. I can see spirit shapes and hear the odd whisper. Master Lee was surprised, but he has not had time to look into it further. Your training is his primary interest. Hopefully I'll find my skills useful for more than just keeping me up at night. Could we go on to something else? We are all spiritual creatures. When we die, our spirits are released to find their way to the underworld. The journey eases the transition from life to death. If their time among the living was troubled or painful, spirits sometimes get lost. They can seem almost alive and are often mistaken for living creatures. They usually only appear for a short time. They say what they need to say and then are drawn to the underworld. If a person's life is very traumatic, his or her spirit can lose its way for a long time. They can go mad trapped in the world of the living. Maddened spirits change. They lose their connection to the living world and begin to channel darker emotions. They can be very dangerous. I've only seen hints of those. It's been enough. I'm very worried about what may be coming. I don't know. That's the kind of thing old men sit on mountains to discover. Some say it is a place of judgment. Maybe it's about reincarnation. You'd think we could just ask the spirits themselves, but if we can't really understand our own answers, how can we hope to fathom theirs? If a person's life was very traumatic, his or her spirit... Maddened spirits change. They lose their connection to the living world. I've only seen hints of those. I don't know, but... His workshop is in the center of the village by the gate, up the stairs from the square. It's the largest and most permanent building. You must be tired if you're asking me about that. You've talked to him many times. I don't want to think about it too much. We are all... I do... We should get our weapons as quickly as we can. I am honored that Master Lee feels I am worthy of standing beside you. We should get our weapons.
All right, so here's our first follower, Dawnstar, and we've got this book here, The Inner Self. Again, now, I'd say pay attention to this too. This is all talking about the Great Wheel of Life and how it's kind of like the Circle of Life. It's kind of lame. This is probably a better twist or a more interesting twist on it. Basically, when people die, you know, they turn to spirits, and then their spirit can be reborn. Again, that's actually a pretty major plot point too. So you know, kind of, I guess, pay attention to that, I suppose. But Dawnstar here, I'll just say, like, if you know, she's one of the romanceable characters, I believe. Only though if you're playing a male protagonist or main character, and she can be turned to closed fist if your character is going closed fist. I don't know if you can turn a closed fist if you're staying open palm. I'm not sure. For some reason, I don't think so. I think you kind of gotta be going down that path if you want her to go that way too. But anyways, in the first chapter here, if you know, if romancing her is one of the goals of your playthrough, you don't have to really worry too much about what you say to her in chapter 1. There just isn't any, you know, that has no bearing on that. So don't sweat it, I guess, too much. You know, you can chat her up if you want, but there isn't really
nice little town you
much
have
to
here.
it.
Not a lot of guards, are there? How are your stocks of food?
I don't know you. Why are you asking me all these questions?
This town isn't well guarded. Forget it. Let's just start looting. We'll get first crack at the good stuff.
You're right. This isn't worth it.
How are those for, like, obvious questions? Jeez. How are your stocks of food?
Heavenly wave.
Alright, so... I think these are the first people you can actually... Well, we'll see here. See if I actually land a Heavenly Wave strong attack here. I thought maybe these guys were the first ones that yeah, you can actually kill these ones. So, a harmonious combo. And I just missed it. Just the... Oh, yeah, I'm getting busted up here. I missed connecting on the Leaping Tiger. So basically, to do a harmonious combo, you do a strong attack with your support style, and then you have to finish it with a strong attack from your martial style. And my impression is that it takes different different support styles will result in different different power-ups being left behind. So Heavenly Wave there ends with a HP or a health power-up. And I don't know the other ones right off the top of my head. I honestly don't really use many other support styles. And I don't believe that every support style, though, can complete a Oh, wow, am I even saying that correctly? Harmonious combo? There you go. So, you'll have to check in your styles list. You know, whether or not the style can actually do them. So maybe hopefully I'll remember to look at the different styles and see what we can and can't do. It's not one of those things that I actually use. In all honesty, I don't use them a whole lot. I tried I think a little bit more in this playstyle to use them. But a lot of times it just ends up being a lot of work. You know, the problem is, for one thing, you have to land that initial hit with the support style, and that's not too bad. The good thing about Heavenly Wave is that it's got really good range, so it's fairly easy to land it. But then the follow-up, you know, can sometimes be a bit difficult. And probably the biggest hurdle in the whole thing is that you know, in groups of enemies where you're fighting a lot of different enemies at the same time, it can be difficult to complete those, just because, you know, you've got other enemies to worry about, and those power attacks do take time. So here's a nice little, this is martial arts, kind of like the I don't know, methodology, or maybe that's not the right word. Just a cool little overview, I suppose, of martial arts. And that's your first hidden book set technique. So let's check what we got here. The Legacy of Master Li. Alright, so he's some learn better than others. These minor lessons builds on the others, teaching a student to focus his mind and then learn from his surroundings constantly. So his little book set there, the idea is to, you know, build, you know, kind of like building blocks, and then thus completing you know, a bigger lesson to be learned, I suppose. And the weapon master here speaks in Taofan, so I'm not going to. I guess I'll just talk through what he's saying, because, you know, like I said, you know, I don't even actually know if that's a real language or not. I should look. Yeah, kind of cool to find out, or if they just made it up for the game. I'm not sure. Either way, you know, you're not gonna get a whole lot out of his voice acting. So, basically, we're really just here to get a weapon from him, and I always pick Fortune's favorite. Sorry, I like the longsword. My understanding with the other weapon, the staff, is that it's got better range but worse damage. So, you know, to be honest, range does play a very... range is a very good aspect of combat. That's actually one of the reasons why I pick Leaping Tiger as my martial style. Just because the range is nice to have. It makes it a little bit easier to land, you know, just land attacks, because otherwise you just have to get closer to the enemy. And, you know, that's not the worst thing in the world. There's you know, ways to get around that, that little hindrance, but the other problem with the weapon styles is that when you use your weapons, they do drain your focus. So really, I mean, if you're using a weapon that does less damage, like the staff, you know, as opposed to the longsword, you're going to be draining more of your focus. You know, is it going to make or break you? No, I really don't think so. But that being said, I'll be honest, I don't really use my weapon styles that much anyway. I really tend to focus on my martial styles, and I upgrade, you know, you know, again, so I pick Leaping Tiger, so I definitely upgrade that one first before any other style. And, you know, that kind of goes along with the fact that at the end of the game, you're only going to have so many style points to spend. So you're not going to be able to upgrade literally every style that you have access to in the game. So, you know, again, I guess I would say pick and choose, you know, your favorites and focus on those. You know, another thing, though, that you have to remember, though, is there's a lot of spirits in the game, and weapons cannot be used against spirits. They're ineffective, so you need to be using your martial style for that. So, again, that's one of the reasons why I really tend to focus on my martial style. So, you know, I guess just keep that in mind as you choose, you know, which styles you'd like to upgrade.
If you decide you truly don't like it, however, you can come back here to Gujin for a while and swap out your weapon if you want to try, you know, if you want to try them both. So, you know, you could pick the
Master Li has been training you so that
oh, and I forgot. So I'm playing on the what is this? Is this the limited? Yeah, the limited edition. So I've got the what is it called? I think the original staff weapon is called the Golden Star. But since I have the limited edition, it's called the
Excuse me, Weapon Master. I did not mean to interrupt.
Tian something.
Calm down, student.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention.
The
Sorry. But I think it's an upgrade actually over to the Golden Star. So, you know, I don't know. Again, I didn't pick it anyway. I just went with Fortune's favorite.
I'm sure he will be back before long, but we must depend on you until he returns.
All right, so here we've got another student here interrupting us.
Make your way to the beach and teach these bandits a lesson.
And he's saying that bandits have made it to the beach.
You've done well, lad. Go back to the school now. Your friends have some new weapons they're dying to try out, I'm sure.
Alright, so there we've got it. Gained Fortune's favorite. Again, you know, if you try it out and you don't really like it, or you want to try the other one, go ahead. You know, just come back here and tell him you want to swap it out.
Bandits, huh? I see a lot of them. I better let someone else have some fun for a change. Can't abandon the gate. You never know if they're gonna sneak around. No, please. I can't fight. I just didn't want to be a rock picker in my grandfather's field. Guarding the gate looked easy. I never thought bandits would actually come. Please don't let them get me. Don't let them.
So here's Guard Young. I don't know really what to say about that guy. He kind of seems like a weakling, but at the same time, I don't know. It's hard to fault him because he's guarding the gate.
Long sword.
You know, so and that's kind of what he's supposed to be doing. So I mean, I don't know. It's a tough one. You know, if I was in the position, it's hard to think about in these terms, but. Would I really just stay at the gate while the bandits are overrunning? I think the answer is no. So that's why it kind of feels like he's just kind of
I don't know. Not, I guess absolute dedication to the gate, I'm not sure is the best route to go. And I don't remember if I already switched or not, but I think that most of the followers in the game do a better job in support mode. So, you know, I don't know. I guess you can try it out and see what you think, but especially with like Dawnstar, restores your chi, I think it is. I think that's her support ability. And I mean, the good thing about that is, now I'm playing on Master. Normally, I think every other time I've played this game, I've played it on Student, and it is definitely noticeable. It's really noticeable, the different difficulty. You take noticeably more damage, and you do noticeably less to enemies. So, you know, again, you can you know, set up your followers however you want, but I would recommend I would recommend putting them on support. And here, this guy's got a sun down by the beach, and we'll talk to the sun here in a little while.
Thank the heavens you came down.
And then here, you're gonna want to come down here and get this, clear out these bandits first of all. And then this chest that they've got here is actually a little mini quest. Oh, and look at that! I almost got killed right there. Yeah, this guy worked me pretty bad. But the chest there has some silver in it, and basically the quest then, and you have to be. Gosh, look at that! I almost died again. This guy's just really messed with me. So the harmonious combos there, I mean, obviously, you know, are pretty gory. Well, I don't know if we can say it's pretty gory. All right, so 200 silver there. So, you know, again, you know, it's cool when they land because you'll one-shot them. Unfortunately, not every enemy in the game is weak to those, or maybe I shouldn't say that. Not every enemy in the game you can actually use a harmonious combo on. I feel there's certain enemies that are, you know, typically beefier that you're not going to be able to do that to. So yeah. So anyways, the chest there. There's a couple of different ways to handle that whole quest, and basically in a little bit here, you know, after some more of these events unfold, you'll find an NPC that asks you about the gold or the silver that was left behind or that he had. And you can do a couple of different things. For one thing, you can give him all of the silver back, and that's to get maximum open palm points. And then there's another option to give him like half back, and then the final option is like you keep it all. And to keep it all gives you closed fist points.
Heavenly wave.
And then, you know, and giving him half back gets you some open palm, but not as many as if you were to give it all back. I gave him some of it back, and I believe that was because I had spent some already on Smiling Mountain's techniques. So I actually wasn't able to give him the full 200 silver back because I had spent a bunch of it. There we go. I had pretty decent rhythm going on there. Some of these fights I did not do very well though. You know, like there's a couple of them that I almost died on. So, but they can be tough. And again, no, it's if you can segregate out one enemy from the rest, it makes doing these combos a lot easier. But you can see here I'm getting interrupted by the other enemies and my own, like probably I guess I'd say timing. I think this guy, yeah, you can't use the combo on him, and that dude noticeably has more health than the rest of his cronies. And here you actually see the ship is still firing on us, and I actually got hit there. One of the cannonballs or whatever they're shooting at us. So it's like like fiery ammo though, because it immolates your character. Immolation is a pretty common. I almost want to say status effect. I guess that, like in like RPG terms, it would be like status effect. But what it does is it just does a little bit of minor damage over time. Not you know, not the worst thing in the world, but damage nonetheless.
Your skills are more than this tiny village warrants, but I also see something strange, an oddity.
All right, so this guy obviously is noticing the main character's skill.
A further test is needed. These mercenaries are not the only threat I command. Let us see you contend with this.
And you know, again, he just like everybody else, you know, the students and whatnot. I think everybody pretty much notices that your character is a little bit different than, you know, everybody else. He's obviously, you know, notices your skill, and it's, you know, from what he says, is far greater than anyone else in the village. So a further test is necessary. So here you've got your first spirit enemies to fight, and keep in mind again, these guys cannot be harmed by weapons, so don't bother. With Dawn Star, I feel like I could have utilized chi strikes a little bit more, but that's one of the things that I don't really do a whole lot of. You know, in some cases though, maybe the mana would be better spent on healing.
Impressive.
You know, I guess I'm.
Clearly, I have been too dismissive in my search.
I would say I definitely have noticed that I'm taking a lot more damage than I normally did when playing in the game. And you know, one thing actually that I should have probably talked about a little bit earlier is one of the most important things to learn in the game is how to evade, not block, mind you. I really don't like blocking a lot. I don't know. I don't know what it is about the blocking. It just, and maybe maybe with other martial styles, maybe blocking is a little more relevant, but I just don't like it very much. I like to actually hold one of the directions and then press the B button, you know, to jump around a little more.
To look in so humble a place. We expected an army. Your strategy, as always, is impeccable.
All right, and the Lotus Assassin there says,
but no one will hear of your success.
He says a little bit about, you know, we never thought to find you here, and as always, your strategy is, you know, whatever, impeccable or whatever he says. And he just destroys this guy. Which is pretty awesome. And not to mention destroying the entire ship. Just kind of crazy. But yeah, so the Lotus Assassins are obviously searching for your master if it's not obvious already.
I thought I had more time.
And I would say there is, you know, if you've played through the game previously, you know, you'll get a little more out of the dialogue, but the Lotus Assassin does hint as who your master actually is, which will be revealed quite soon anyway. So it's not like a, you know, a huge. You're not going to be missing out on something huge if you haven't played through it already. Alright, Furious Mike's leveled up. I typically go with like a balanced leveling. I don't know. I guess maybe that's just out of habit. I guess I didn't this time, but I shored up my chi a little bit, you know, in the last couple videos, I guess. Reason being, I guess I just like to be a little more balanced. I don't want to just have a ton of health and then no spirit or chi to back me up. Oh, sorry, focus or chi to back me up. You know, reason being is I don't spend a ton of time on weapon styles. I don't spend a ton of time using magic abilities, but there are times where you're going to want to be able to heal yourself, so you're going to need mana, which, you know, you're going to need, what is it, spirit? Spirit is the stat for that. You know, so that's why I feel like a more balanced, or a fairly balanced route is good. you know, you can have all the health in the world, but once it's gone, it's gone. You know, so if you don't have any magic, I guess, to back you up and heal your wounds, then you could run into problems. And on that same vein, you can actually, I would say, prevent damage by using the focus mode. You know, you're just, it speeds you up. I guess you can akin it to, you know, things like bullet time, if, you know, if anybody's played the Max Payne series. But I'm going to probably cut the commentary here and just let the dialogue play out. So like, comment, subscribe, whatever you guys want to do. Hope the guides are helpful, though. Hope you're liking the style, and hope you join me for more. Alright, thanks for watching.
With glimpses of the spirit realm invading my thoughts, I could have seen them anywhere. I can't remember specific incidents, but I am used to being shunned. People are not very welcoming of those who appear to not let the dead lay peacefully. Master Li said I was brought to him by a concerned ally who received me from yet another person. That person wanted me safe, but he said he couldn't ensure it himself. Master Li doesn't know who that guardian was or what I needed protection from. He promised to look into it, but he's not had time. Your training has taken precedence. My abilities are just a curiosity. You are the center of attention here. I prefer it this way. I can just be.
There you go again with your playful words. I never know when you're serious or what my reaction should be.
Thanks for this talk. The events on the beach worried me, but you always improve my mood. Let's get back to what you need to do. Well, we've already visited Gu Jin, who used to be a guard in the west, they say. Old Ming always has a story, and he's usually by the statue on the beach. Merchant Fen Do is in the village square. He's been expecting new goods any day now, for weeks. Oh, for training or learning the philosophy behind martial combat, go see Smiling Mountain. He's behind the ring, near the student quarters. He's always amusing. Then we should return to Master Li so he can talk to you about this attack. Yes? I can see... Hopefully. We are all...